Welcome to another segment of Talk and Do with CPDI, a program where we talk Nigeria as it is and do Nigeria as it ought to be. Today, we'll be having a very meaningful discussion on an aspect of the Nigerian Constitution, which is the Chapter 2, Section 14 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. My name is Chris Nwani, and with me in the studio to have this discussion is a gentleman and a passionate Nigerian who will introduce himself.
Okay, hi viewers. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Henry Debem. I welcome you to this segment as well.
This Section 14 of the Nigerian Constitution talks about the government and the people. And we shall be looking at it in the next segment of our discussion. But first, let's go to the public and see their view around this aspect of our Constitution to hear what they're saying. I'm sure we'll get a lot of ideas of what we know or what we do not know and what we can begin to do from now on.
Welcome to the Vox Pop segment of Talk and Do with CPDI, a program where we talk Nigeria as it is and do Nigeria as it ought to be. I am Babajide Michael Olusegun. Today I will be engaging Nigerians on a very important question, or a series of questions. And what are these questions? Stay tuned to find out. I would like to know your view about democracy in Nigeria. Do you think Nigeria practices democracy?
Personally, I'll be honest with you, I don't think we have anything called democracy in this country.
Our democracy is 40.
There's nothing that shows we're practicing anything close to democracy, not at all. I think it's just democracy in the name of democracy, but not in the real context of what we understand democracy to be, which is the government by the people, allowing the people decide and make a say and have a say, and that say count. I don't think Nigeria practices anything close to democracy at all.
It doesn't really try to accommodate all people's interests. I think it's one-sided, one mainly for the rich, and then the poor are being ignored. So I don't think democracy is really practiced as it should be in Nigeria.
Do you believe that power belongs to the people in Nigeria?
Yes, I believe that power belongs to the people, because if people don't vote, there's no how the governor is going to be in that position.
So how do you think democracy should be practiced in Nigeria?
Well, I think it's supposed to accommodate at least majority interests. Nigeria is a place whereby if you have issue, that they will first of all weigh your class and see whether there is something that can come out of you. Person, instead of looking at it in an objective way, they start to look at it with a sentiment. So I think democracy should be void of sentiment and be more of the focus on people objectively.
A lot of people have said this on different mediums, so this is just a time to add my own view to it. I think it's quite clear what we need to do. The core and thing to do to have democracy entrenched in all aspects of Nigerian lives is to address our constitution. That's the basis for everything we've been talking about. We can go round and beat around the bush. There will be no real change until you address the constitution. And when we talk about constitution, address the fundamental things that have to do with the constitution, that have people who allow institutions to function. Elections must be free and fair. And that's where it starts. If you don't get elections right, you are just joking or just playing around. Once people in power realize that the true power lies with the people and what they say stands, you don't tamper with votes, election. Make electoral processes to be clean, fair, and straightforward. So that we have people know that they are accountable for what they are doing. So that's where it starts, really. We don't like this top-bottom thing we do. Let's go from the bottom top.
If a man from Inewi or a woman from Inewi becomes the president of Nigeria today, do you think Nigeria will be a better place?
Nigerian problem is beyond ethnicity. Something that has to do with merit. If the person is, by all ramification, suit for it, suit in the sense that he must have met some condition necessary for being a president.
Welcome back. This program is brought to you by CPDI in collaboration with a New Nigeria is Possible vision. Having listened to the views of the public, one will wonder how much these people are aware of the real content of the Constitution. And that is the reason why we are here, to actually educate the people, because it's obvious that most of them do understand that there is a way a country should run, but do not know how it should be and what they could be doing to make a difference. No wonder you find a lot of complaints from different corners, because if you do not know that you have some roles and responsibilities to take as a citizen, it makes it very difficult for you to do what you ought to do. And that's the essence of our discussion today, so that we look at the Constitution, especially the section 14, talking about the government and the people, so we can draw out some values from it to help the public understand the power they have and what they can start doing going forward.
So the section 14 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria says,
Apá kẹrìnlá ìwé òfin àgbà orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà sọ wípé apá kan kìíní, gbogbogbò olómìnira ti Nàìjíríà yóò jẹ́ ìpínlẹ̀ kan tó dá lórí àgbékalẹ̀ ti ìjọba tiwantiwa àti ti àwùjọ ìdájọ́. Apá kan kejì, nítorí náà báyìí àwa sọ wípé a ọba agbára jẹ́ ti àwọn ènìyàn orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà láti ọ̀dọ̀ ẹni tí ìjọba nípasẹ̀ ìwé òfin àgbà yìí gba gbogbo agbára rẹ̀ àti àṣẹ rẹ̀, bí ààbò àti ìtọ́jú àwọn ènìyàn Nàìjíríà yóò jẹ́ ìdí àkọ́kọ́ ìjọba ṣíṣe. Sí ìkópa àwọn ènìyàn Nàìjíríà nínú ìjọba wọn yóò wà ní ìdánilójú àti ní ìbámu pẹ̀lú ìpèsè ìwé òfin àgbà yìí. D àkójọpọ̀ ẹ̀yà ara ìjọba Nàìjíríà lápapọ̀ tàbí ti ilé-iṣẹ́ rẹ̀ àti àwọn ìṣesí rẹ̀ yóò wà ní gbígbé jáde ní irú ọ̀nà láti ṣe àfihàn àbùdá àpapọ̀ ìjọba ti orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà àti láti ṣe ìgbélárugẹ ìṣọ̀kan orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà pẹ̀lú ìṣòótọ́ sí orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà, kí ó lè wà ní ìdánilójú pé kò sí bíborí àwọn ènìyàn láti ìpínlẹ̀ díẹ̀ tàbí láti ẹ̀yà díẹ̀ tàbí láti àwọn ẹgbẹ́ aládàáni òmíràn ní ìjọba náà tàbí nínú èyíkéyìí àwọn ilé-iṣẹ́ rẹ̀.
Sashi na 14, ƙaramin sashi na 1. Tarayyar Najeriya za ta kasance ƙasa ce wacce ke bisa tsarin dimokuraɗiyya da adalci na zamantakewa. Ƙaramin sashi na 2. Don haka, an bayyana cewa sashi na 14, ƙaramin sashi na 2 a cikin baka. Mulkin mallaka na al'ummar Najeriya ne, wanda gwamnati daga cikin wannan tsarin mulki take samun dukkan iko. Ba cikin baka. Tsaro da jin daɗin jama'a shine zai zama babbar manufar gwamnati, kuma ja cikin baka. Za a tabbatar da jama'a sun sa hannu a cikin gwamnatinsu kamar yadda wannan kundin tsarin mulki ya tanada. Sashi na 14, ƙaramin sashi na 3. Za a gudanar da duk wani harkokin jigon gwamnatin tarayya ko wata hukuma ta yadda za a tabbatar da tsarin tarayyar Najeriya da buƙatar inganta haɗin kan ƙasa da kuma biyayyar ƙasa don tabbatar da cewa ba za a samu rinjayen mutane daga wasu jihohi ko na wasu ƙabilu ko wasu sassa a cikin gwamnati ko a cikin hukumominta ba. Ƙaramin sashi na 4. Za a gudanar da ayyuka ko harkokin gwamnatin jiha ko ƙaramar hukuma ko wata hukuma ta wannan gwamnati ko majalisa ta yadda za a gane bambance-bambancen jama'a cikin yankin da yake da iko da kuma buƙatar haɓaka fahimtar kasancewa da aminci a tsakanin dukkan al'ummar tarayya.
Usoro iwu ọchịchị obodo anyị bụ Nigeria. Isiokwu nke 2, isi nkeji nke 14, akpọrọ ya gọọmenti na ndị mmadụ a na-achị achị. Nke mbụ, Nigeria ga-abụ obodo akwụdoro na ntụzi ọchịchị onye kwuo uche ya na ikpe ziri ezi na elekọta mmadụ niile. Nke 2, n'ebe a wee kwuo sị na nkeji nke izizi n'ime nke 2, ọbụbụ eze dịrị ụmụ amaala obodo Nigeria, ndị ọ bụ site n'ime ha ka gọọmenti si wee nweta ike na ikike o ji achị dịka usoro iwu ọchịchị obodo siri kwu. Nkeji 2 n'ime nke 2, nchekwa na ọdịmma ndị mmadụ ga-abụ isi ọrụ na nzube dịrị ndị gọọmenti. Nkeji nke 3 n'ime nke 2, a ga-akwado ndị mmadụ isonye na ọchịchị gọọmenti ha ka usoro iwu ọchịchị obodo siri kwu. Nke 3, mmejupụta gọọmenti etiti ma ọ bụ ngalaba ya ọbụla niile yana ka ha si arụ ọrụ ga-adịrịrị n'usoro ọ ga-esi gosipụta ndị steeti na otu niile mejupụtara Naijiria yana mkpa ọ dị iji wee kwanyite ịdị n'otu mba Naijiria wee gbaa irube isi n'obodo ume. Site n'usoro a wee fụ na adịghị mmadụ ole ma ole na steeti ole ma ole ọ n'ime agbụrụ ole ma ole ma ọ bụ otu nkeji ndị ọzọ ga-ejupụta karịa ibefa na gọọmenti etiti ma ọ bụ ngalaba ya niile. Nke 4, mmejupụta gọọmenti steeti, ndọrọndọrọ ọchịchị gọọmenti kansụl ma ọ bụ ngalaba ya bụ gọọmenti ma ọ bụ kansụl yana ka ha si arụ ọrụ ha ga-adịrịrị n'usoro a ga-esi wee gosipụta ma kwado ọtụtụ agbụrụ na nkeji ndị mmadụ niile nọ n'ime ogige ọchịchị ahụ, ma gosipụtakwa mkpa ọ dị iji wee kwanyite uche agụụ iso wee nwere obodo na irube isi n'etiti ndị amaala niile nọ na ya bụ obodo.
1 says the Federal Republic of Nigeria shall be a state based on principles of democracy and social justice. And I think we're asking them if Nigeria practices democracy and most of them are very disappointed, which is very...
And it will be also good to highlight again to our viewers, what democracy really means. I think it's like a global slogan that democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And going by what the public is saying concerning this area of our national existence, that we are not practicing democracy. If you look at the definition really, with what is going on, can you say we are really practicing democracy?
I join their opinion. I'm very, very strong with them. We are not close to that. We are not close to that anyway. But I think we'll be getting better. At least let us know what the constitution backs up and we can know what they are doing.
And the constitution didn't just end with the democracy. It also talks about social justice. So how far do you think we are going? Are we making progress in terms of bringing social justice that every citizen can be proud to say, I am a Nigerian, and that the government or the system can defend my rights as a citizen?
If I want to be positive enough, I would say we are making effort in the sense that we are, at least now we know, because the first will start from knowledge. Now we know that at least we have the legal power, the constitutional power as citizens to be respected, for our social values to be, to be respected, irrespective of your tribe or your diversity and everything. So that now we know. But in practice, I wouldn't say that that's social justice, because it's still very clear that some group of people, a section of the people are protected in all ramifications, while the other suffer. So it's like one section, predates or enjoys the benefits, of the whole country, while some other sections, the majority are just left out there, irrespective of wherever you belong. So it's not in practice, but hopefully, as we are getting to know, I think we are making progress towards that.
Now, looking at where we are as a people, is there hope for the future? And if there is, what can you tell our viewers?
There is so much hope. One can know a life without hope is like dead. As in, you are completely dead. You're not existing. You wake up every day because you believe something better would happen, even though the current situations could be dark, a lot of things going wrong. But we believe so much that we still have the good leaders who could, promote the principles of democracy and social justice. They are all there. We've heard them. We have a couple of them, and so many of them who may not want to come out in public right now. So I think we are getting it right, and there is hope that one day, things will be right, and some of these constitutional provisions will be, upheld as supposed to. So I think there is hope. I so much believe that.
Okay, I actually ask these questions because it will help. By the time we delve into these other subsections, people will be wondering that it is not true. I just wanted people to understand that we can get it right. So when you begin to see those things, don't see them as something that is impossible or is unattainable. Because there are things that are waiting for us to act upon. So let's go into the subsection.
The subsection 2 says, it is hereby accordingly declared that A, sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom government through this constitution derives all its powers and authority.
So
I think this is very, very strong. And this one reminds me of something that people commonly say out there, I mean citizens. One of the Vox Pop guys also mentioned something like that the constitution needs to be strengthened, that the constitution is the problem of the country, and this and that. So many people say a whole lot of things about the constitution without even knowing that that same constitution protects. There are whole lots of things that are good about the constitution.
Yes.
The constitution protects their rights, protects the sovereignty, the peace, the unity, everything that you can think of citizens. The constitution, have done very, very good. It's not perfect, right? It's not a perfect document, but we keep on getting well. Most people are not focusing on the good part of the constitution. They will just be looking at the gaps and saying, because you don't have constitution, you need to revise the constitution. Sometimes I feel it's because they don't know the constitution, not because that the constitution is really bad.
Yeah.
If we can do the good part of the constitution, which I think that the main problem is about implementation, not really whether the constitution is good. If we all can hold on to the good part and be implementing it as citizens, as Nigerians, I mean, we shouldn't be complaining a lot. So that's the point here.
Especially this segment, it says sovereignty belongs to the people. And if we understand what sovereignty means, ownership of Nigeria nation belongs to the people. Because today, some people will tell you Nigeria belongs to some people, whatever they say is what happened. Yeah, we left it for them. Even though things are wrong, are not working well, every other nation went through their challenges.
Yeah.
But someday, the good people stood up and they took advantage of such provision in the constitution. If I know I'm part owner of Nigeria, I won't allow it to be wasted. I will contest everything and I will make myself available. It's just like I have a house today and somebody somewhere, a stranger comes in to take away the house from me. So one of the things I used to tell people is that sovereignty talks about ownership. If I have a house where I live and somebody is coming to take over the building, I won't let go. Because if he takes it away, where do I live? So these are things we must understand as a people, that we have to adjust our mindset to understand that despite all challenges, despite all that we have gone through in Nigeria still remains our properties.
It's our own.
It's our own.
Our country. It belongs
and
to
if
us.
we don't own it, other people will own it for us. And then anybody coming to steal from Nigeria is because you cannot steal what you own. It's because you don't own it. You don't see Nigeria as your own. That's why you are stealing. So those who are there and you feel they are stealing from Nigeria, it's because they are not true Nigerians.
They don't own Nigeria. You can't steal what you have.
You can't steal what you have. I wish the Nigerians will understand this and know that all those who are perpetuating evil, taking advantage of Nigeria, are not true citizens. So it only takes true citizens to build their nation. And these are the true owners of Nigeria.
Exactly. I also want to bring a very good point there that says the people of Nigeria, from whom government, through this constitution, derives its powers. What it means that the government derives its powers from the people. Without the people, there's no power.
No power.
So when the people have decided that, okay, this is our government, we've chosen him, we've elected him, that's the power. Because we are agreeing that we'll do exactly whatever you say. Because we chose you.
And you will do
and
for
we are supporting
us.
you because you are doing it for us.
And you are doing for us what we want to be done.
Yes.
That will be good for all.
So anything outside this, when the government now refuses to follow the directives of the people and decides to do whatever they want or whatever, then maybe at some point now start bringing force, or military or arms to now, it's no longer democracy.
Okay, now let's look at the subsection 2B.
So that says the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. I mean,
this, I don't know, you don't need any more explanation to understand this.
I tell you.
In real terms.
It's very simple.
But it shows to us, how we have been, whether or not Nigeria actually have leaders. Because this is the primary responsibility of leadership, security of the people and the welfare of the people, which is obviously in denial of, if you look at today's democracy and leadership in Nigeria. I don't know how better to put it.
It's most of the comments from the Vox Pop, the people, you could see that they commented so much on lack of those care. They don't feel the government. They don't feel this is happening. No security, no food. The salon, hair salon lady says she will stay from the morning with the baby. So there is no fear about the government. And they're saying that government is from the people to take care of the people. But no security, you know what's going on now. Welfare, you see the food issues going on. As if they don't care. So I still want to stand on that ground that the Constitution has done a lot to protect the people. But the question is that the government, the people who select, are they following the Constitution?
They are not doing it. And then the citizens themselves do not know the Constitution. Therefore cannot act.
Exactly. You cannot hold them accountable. That this is not what Chris Nwani says because he's an Hausa man.
Exactly.
No, this is what the Constitution says that you should do. As our right, as our responsibility, this is what you should do for the citizens.
Exactly.
So even like if I want to go and meet my governor or my local government chairman or whoever, I'll go with this constitution and say, this is what it says. But look at what's going on.
Why is it this way?
Why is it this way?
Why can't we do things differently?
And C says, participation by the people in their government shall be ensured in accordance with the provision of the Constitution. And it's also trying to encourage people to participate, as you have the right to be part of the government.
Yes.
The democracy is the government of the people. So it's also just for us to know that the Constitution also protects and encourages us. Nobody will come and take you to jail or malhandle, except if the person is a bandit or going outside the Constitution. If not, you have the right to go to your governor or your chairman or your president to say, please, can you let us know, because it's part of us.
Yeah.
Let us know what we've done on this. Look at the situation. You can have town hall meeting. You can decide to tell your government that we should be having town halls meeting once every month or every week. You should be part of their government. So that's what the Constitution is also trying to encourage us to do.
And again, from the view of the public, and what I think a lot of people listening to us now will be saying is the fact that even when they do all these things, that these leaders, you cannot change them. I've had a lot of faith, But what I know is that truth that is in this Constitution remain the truth.
Yeah.
Even the president cannot change it.
Yes.
The governor cannot change it.
Yes.
It remains the truth.
Yeah.
The only thing is whether or not they are ready to align with the truth.
Yes.
But if they are not aligning with the truth, one day this truth will surely show up.
Exactly.
So what we should do is to align with the truth as citizens. Whatever we need to be doing, let's keep doing it, because a day will come. If we have not learned this, even when a good man now comes in, we won't be able to relate with it. And I think that's one of the purposes of our discussion today.
Yeah. So for the 3, section 3 says, the composition of the government of the Federation or any of its agencies and the conduct of its affairs shall be carried out in such a manner as to reflect the federal character of Nigeria and the need to promote national unity, and also to command national loyalty, thereby ensuring that there shall be no predominance of persons from a few states or from a few ethnic or other sectional groups in that government or in any of its agencies. This is super.
This is something what singing and dancing for. Because this is a portion of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. An ordinary man will be wondering, can this be? But it already is.
Yes, I agree.
The only problem is that we've not seen a people who are willing to exemplify these lofty ideologies of a nation. And that is the reason the country has become the way it is.
Yeah.
So it means that when we rise up in this realm to redefine ourselves as citizens and begin to apply what the Constitution says concerning us, that I am free as a Nigerian to live in any part of Nigeria and to be accorded the same respect. So the question comes, my brother, how come that every now and then I'm given a form to fill? Which state am I from? Which local government am I from? Where did all these things come in when we have something like this in the Constitution? What do you have to say about this?
It's quite disappointing. It's very frustrating to see these things happening and to see government running like they have their own constitution. They are not following this, because this has really, said it all. like I always say, constitution is, let me say, 90% complete, and try as much as possible to protect the people. So when you see a constitution that is trying to bring in social justice, fairness, even in the government, in the agencies, in the constitution of the members of any agencies, in their affairs, like he says, conducting its affairs, shall be carried out in a manner to reflect federal character. Show that other people are also important. One group shouldn't feel so important or shouldn't be promoted or protected more than the others. So if you have that in mind, just like your question says, why would you want to know my state, my religion, my ethnicity, even in the federal or in the government instruments or affairs, you're asking me to complete forms that will segregate, that will show that you are coming from. What is that? So in all essence, what this constitution is trying to say is that if there's any form like that, we should have ethnicity, Nigeria, whatever it calls again, Nigeria. Everything about you should be Nigeria. Mm-hmm. So we shouldn't have provisions that will make, and again, it's also giving us the power. Let me say the constitution. Let me make this point. The idea of this constitution is that when you are taking your leaders or the government or whoever holding them responsible, what you are doing is that you are acting within the provisions, the authority of the constitution, protecting you as a citizen to do what you are doing. You are not acting out of law. Mm-mm. Nobody will come and hold you responsible to say, no, you've done this, you've done that, you will go to prison. If it comes to going to the prison or going to the law, you can take the government, tie the government to court. By bringing this constitution, as citizens, group of citizens can come together and say, okay, we are taking our government to court because this is the constitutional provisions, and he or whoever, they are not doing that. Yeah. So you have the power, the right to take them to court based on the provisions of this constitution.
That's true.
Nobody should segregate you. You can't form a government that you have only like one allies or one group or in the whole country.
And, so and when you look at this, you begin to wonder, why are people doing this? Why they are doing that? Most times, this segregation comes in when people feel there's something they have to benefit from sidelining others. Otherwise, we are all one. Everything Nigeria has belongs to all Nigerians. And then we should live as brothers and then, have advantage of all of this. In the place of disadvantage, you are there to help the other, and the other will help another until we are all okay. What I don't have that you have, when we put it together, it becomes a whole. And that's what it's supposed to be. Yeah. And anybody saying that Nigeria does not have what it takes to rise again should go back to this constitution and understand that all it takes is a practice of what is in the constitution, and we get it right.
I totally agree with you. It's just the implementation that we are suffering from, So let's look at the subsection 4. So just a reminder that we are in section 14. That's chapter 2, section 14, subsection 4. So all these are still under section 14. So subsection 4 says, the composition of the government of a state, a local government council, or any of the agencies of such government or council, and the conduct of the affairs of the government or council, or such agencies shall be carried out in a manner as to recognize the diversity of the people within its area of authority, and the need to promote a sense of belonging and loyalty among all the people of the federation. It's still strengthening the subsection 3.
Another moral booster.
Another moral booster.
Because why this constitution is made to reflect all of this is looking at our composition, our diversities. That even in a village, the next village, you see people speaking different languages. They have different cultures from different ethnic groups. How do we come together? But really, each time I travel and I see people mix up, Nigerians mix up, sometimes you don't even know who is who. Because what people do is that anywhere they find themselves, they learn their language. They start eating their food. And it's normal because it's about exposure to new things. And you begin to do what you see other people doing. And that's what it entails. For me, maybe before you explain more, is the fact that everything in life is about looking at the impact it will make in another person's life. Once you understand that fact, it begins to regulate your actions and responses to people. And that becomes a total new order that we're looking for to produce the Nigeria of our dreams.
Excellent, excellent. I totally agree with you. And for me, the constitution, one thing, and let me just confess, yes, it could be a confession. This is actually, in fact, I'm giving that credit to CPDI. It's actually the very first time I'm digging deep into the details and content of the constitution. I myself, I know some of these, superficially, some here and there, that kind of thing, but we are having the opportunity to look at it holistically, from the beginning to the end, at least to see, we can come out and say whether the constitution is the problem or the implementation of the constitution. So for what this says, we have the rights. It's our rights that you should be part of your government, and the government should consider every unit, every group within its authority or jurisdiction, as it says. So you have the right to go and ask the government what is going on. Nobody should take you to jail. If it takes you to jail, you also have the right, based on your constitutional right, to take the government to the courts.
To defend yourself.
And defend yourself. And when court, you're saying, I am acting
based on this. Because I'm a citizen.
Because I'm a citizen.
Of the
and
Federal
it's very,
Republic
very
of
clear.
Nigeria.
And you see many people now trying to shy away, run away from, you don't have the strength, is it only me, that kind of thing. Citizens can come together. You can have a lawyer among you who is also, it's not about being professional trying to make money. It's about your country. You can have a lawyer among you who can provide that legal aid, free, pro bono, to support a group, to take the government to the courts. By the time the government starts going to the court, if they like, let them buy all the judges and all whatever is, but let it be on record that citizens are standing up to now, not going to protest or hit or burn. No, that shouldn't be out of it. You have the constitutional right to go and present yourself to the court. So I think that is what this provision is saying.
For me,
very proud of it.
What I'm taking out of this today is that when truth is suppressed and lies are expressed over time, it will look as if those truth does not exist. I think that's what's happening to our constitution. This constitution has been there.
It's there.
Since we, moved into the last democracy, the constitution has been there. This very one that has to do with the welfare of the people is intact.
And participation of the people
and the participation in government is intact. And we shouldn't joke with it, because that is the only place we have relationship with our country. And that's where we can build confidence. That is where we can propel the change that we want to see.
And I'm also happy that some of our friends and citizens, as in the Vox Pop and on the streets, are also, I like some of them that we are very open to say, it mustn't come from me. It's about merit. It can come anywhere. It could be from this and that. And you see that willingness, they want to be part of that. But they don't know that they have the constitutional right to do. Nobody will arrest you. You don't have to be afraid that this will happen. It's your rights.
It's your rights.
It's also your responsibility as a leader to do what the constitution says.
Exactly.
Because this is our guiding principle.
Okay, now I want us to, before we round up, to look at the takeaways.
Okay.
What are we taking away from this discussion? The truth about it, for me, there's a major takeaway. Listening to the people gave me the confidence that the people still believe in Nigeria. They believe in their nationality. They are willing to see Nigeria change. The only difference is that they do not know what to do, because they do not know what the Constitution says.
Exactly.
And one cannot do more than he knows. So it's now placing a demand on every Nigerian to go and know what he should know, especially, reading this chapter 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It will do a lot of good. It will massage your ego. It will boost your confidence to want to say, I am a Nigerian. And now you know your roles, you know you are right. Because if you don't know you are right, you can't defend it. So this, for me, is a takeaway. And I know that you have more takeaways from this.
It's very close to what you are saying. Knowledge is power in this essence. And what I mean by knowledge is power is that when you know what the Constitution says, any government or any government official won't come and drag you away to something else, try to threaten you, to do what you're not supposed to in the name of, no, you're not following any law. Once you know your law and you are working in accordance to the law, you are protected. So my only thing there is, also encouraging, Nigerians, try as much as possible, even if it's one section a day or in a week, have it with you and just be going through it one after the other. You'll find a lot of strength in the Constitution because this is our guiding principle as long as it's concerned. If anybody comes to move you away from what the Constitution or try to threaten you for not doing what you should do or doing what you should do, take that person as an ordinary bandit or robber that can, put you under duress or under gun to force you to do something else. If you have not, for example, say you didn't beat the traffic and somebody comes to arrest you that you beat the traffic and you know that what you've done or you're on the right track or something, you don't have to quarrel. You follow the person lightly to the police station, to whatever, then call. That's why I keep on encouraging people to form groups and have the legal, lawyers that could support to produce these things, as in to, expatiate them and help you to know you're right. So follow them. You don't have to fight. When you go to the police, he said, I am acting in accordance to the Constitution. I have not gone against the law. And they have people that come and support you. Yeah. That is the strength. It's not about doing gara-gara. And once they know that you know what you are doing and you're right, anything outside that becomes, how do I, like banditry action or force.
By way of interpretation, the situation in the country, what we've been doing, the way the public have been responding to what leadership is bringing to them is a kind of enforcing the will of individuals against the will of the people or against the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we conclude, now that we've done the talking, in every segment we have, we usually try to tell the people what to begin to do based on the discussion we have today.
Yeah.
So what do you think the people of Nigeria should start doing now that they have understanding of the relationship between the government and the people?
Okay, our advice, like I said earlier, know the Constitution. Try as much as possible. Just know it. Maybe because you cannot force the government, you cannot force an adult to do something else. But once you know it, at least you have this constitutional backup, this confidence that whatever you are doing, you have the law of the land backs it up. You're not going away from it. Then you also want to start holding your government accountable. Try to go and ask questions based on this Constitution. Don't approach your government based on who you are, based on your party. No, as a normal citizen and based on this Constitution, you are approaching them for them to be responsible. So you are holding them accountable, and you can imagine do that as a person. Form as a group and write as a group. You can write to your local government chairman, to your councillor, to your governor, or to the president as a group. And when it gets to the point that, okay, they're not listening, you have the right, the constitutional right to take the government to the courts based on this. And I would like to see a Nigeria where the courts are busy because the citizens are going to court. I want to see that kind of government.
Yes.
Then that means that the citizens are now rising up to their responsibility based on their constitutional rights. So these are the kind of things I want to see to start happening.
You are right. I agree with you. And one of the things I may want our viewers to do is that, when we talk Nigeria, we are talking about us, about all the people. This knowledge we are talking about now, maybe you've known this since 2 years. I may have known this since just maybe last month. Okay. But the more that we are who understand all of this, it will make it better. So please, let's begin now to do those things we've not done in the past. Because normally government was supposed to introduce things like this in the school system where people understand what are their rights as citizens and what are the expectations or the roles they should be playing,
their responsibilities as well,
for the growth of the country.
Yeah.
But now that we are having the knowledge, it's not too late. We can have these discussions at the family level or at group levels because it's about Nigeria. Yeah. When Nigeria is good, then it will be good for everyone. Yeah. But as far as Nigeria is not good, whatever you are doing, so in anything you are doing, let's see it as an opportunity to discuss this aspect of our constitution, where we can now be empowered enough, to do the things we need to do for the good of Nigeria. We have come to the conclusion of today's discussion on section 14 of Chapter 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You can follow the conversations and actions on our social media platforms, which are showing on your device. Until we come your way again, always remember that a new Nigeria is possible with fear of God, love for the Chapter 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and knowledge of and respect for the rights and duties of every Nigerian.